Welcome back to Two Nicoles, One Podcast. We're here with our fun little mini-series for the Bachelorette, and we're on episode 5.
Feels like it's been episode 50.
I know, yeah, we've already almost ended a season within a season within a season.
Yeah, so I guess on that note, let's talk about Clarendale so we don't have to talk about them ever again.
Yes.
All right, done.
Get rid of those poop and peas.
Yes. So obviously the episode gets interrupted with Clarendale, because of course it does.
Yes.
And basically, Chris Harrison asks again if because he says the whole Bachelor Nation thinks they're lying about, ever seeing each other or talking or whatever. And, Claire immediately goes, no, we've never, ever. I'm not buying it still.
Yeah, of course they're going to say that. I mean, they're not, especially when they've said it all this time. Why would they just all of a sudden change their story?
Well, yeah, that's exactly what I thought too. It's not in the way, it's funny because the previews made it sound like she was going to admit that she, okay, so we get it. You've never talked before, you're lying, whatever. And then basically, Chris is just asking them what's next. And Chris is saying you're engaged. He's like, what's wedding plans, blah, blah, blah. And Dale's just kind of sitting there quiet, and Claire over talks and it's like, babies.
Yeah, it's weird, and it's they've only actually known each other for a couple months,
right?
Just a few months, maybe 4, and they're really just got to know each other. They just got each other, supposedly just got each other's phone number.
Right. Well, you can still DM. You don't have to have phone numbers.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just weird to me. It's you barely know each other, and you're like, oh my God, you're the love of my life. My father would be so proud of me.
Yeah, they're definitely in the honeymoon stage, 100% in the honeymoon stage right now. So, and the thing is, I don't know if you noticed this, but when they were sitting there talking, I felt the whole time, Dale looked like somebody who's scared to talk. Almost he just looked like he was just Claire says everything for the relationship, and Dale just agrees with it because he's scared not to.
Yeah, and I think he also has a lot of Botox in his face, so everything's very tight. It's staying where it's at.
Yeah.
But what I really know, so that's I'm like, wow, I wonder how many units is in his face. But that was my interpretation of that. But I'm listening to her, and I'm like, wow, she really needs to see a therapist. And I'm not saying this to make fun of her, but she has serious daddy issues.
Oh, yeah. Well, and she also brought up her age again, saying that she wouldn't have been chosen as the oldest bachelorette or whatever to come on the show not to find love or something like that. We get it, Claire, you're 39. Nobody cares. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, especially we're not much younger than her. It makes her saying that makes us feel bad. It's thanks Claire.
Yeah,
you
pretty much
going on TV with your unresolved issues really makes us feel great. So
yeah. So I mean, I don't know if you guys all can tell, but we're clearly big fans of Clarendale.
Yeah,
big fans.
We're so excited.
Yeah,
that we're You know what? We are excited that they're
gone,
departing. Hopefully.
You know what though?
Because I don't believe that they'll be back.
Yeah. All joking aside, though, whatever. I hope it works out for them, because the thing is it just seems so fake, so fake, and I want them to prove me wrong. That's what I want.
Oh yeah, I don't wish them ill will by any means.
No.
We're just providing commentary.
Exactly. So
yeah, don't be a hater. Boo.
Yeah, So let's give Tasia some acknowledgement, because she's being overshadowed by poor Claire.
Yeah, she's the Bachelorette now, so what's cooking?
So she starts the episode off where she's doing a cocktail party, and the guys are all excited. They finally get to meet the new Bachelorette, and Chris comes in and pulls her out and says things are about to change. Ooh.
And ghosts come in.
That's at the end of the episode. Yeah. So he takes her outside, and he lets her know he wasn't just gonna leave her with 16 guys or Claire's leftovers. But so 4 new guys come. So we meet Spencer, Peter, Noah, and Montel. And the other guys inside see the limo pull up, and they're like, oh man, can't we catch a break? And I'm 50-50 on this. I I feel bad for the guys because now they have to compete with even more.
Mm-hmm.
It's fresh meat. So maybe, Tasia's thinking, oh, those are Claire's leftovers. I don't want to be a second choice. So maybe I'll focus my attention to these 4 new people. But then on the other side, it's like, well, I think Tasia should get to have those new people. But I do feel bad for the guys too, because they've already been put through a lot.
Yeah. And honestly, it's funny you're saying that because I was like I saw this one clip online of Claire doing, I think her podcast. Is it from her podcast?
Claire's a podcast?
She does. Because that's her. She was a phlebotomist. And
okay.
Or not Claire. I'm sorry, Tasia.
Oh, okay.
Tasia's podcast. Yeah. I've got Claire on the brain. But Tasia's podcast, because she was a phlebotomist and then that's what I guess her day job is. Her podcast, or she was interviewing, but anyways, the point is that somebody asked her like, well, do you feel like those are, did you get impressions from the guys from watching Claire's season? And she said, to be honest, you didn't really see anybody on Claire's season. Like,
right.
You didn't know who these guys were. And I know we were just talking about that. Like, it's hard to remember the names of these guys.
Yeah.
Because they weren't on the show.
No. And also, she did say in an interview I watched yesterday, I think it was with E, she said that she did initially know who the guys were when Claire's season was announced, because of course she looked them up, but she was not in line to be the Bachelorette for this season. I think it was for next season. So when they did ask her to come back, she said she did not go back and re-look who these people were. Mm-hmm. And the interviewer was like, oh, were you bummed out that Dale wasn't there? And she's like, again, no, because I didn't do full research and be a detective like Claire did.
Yeah.
So which I think is cool, because why do that? You're going on the show to get to know these people. And first off, social media is false.
Can be very false.
Yeah, you can post anything you want and make it look like you live this glamorous life, and meanwhile you could be a trash bag.
Which is funny that you say that, because this is kind of going off track, but I'll make it quick. So they say that I don't know if it's really an industry, but just for lack of a better word, the return industry has went up 600%, mm-hmm. because people buy clothes that they can't afford, take pictures for their Instagram, and then return them.
Oh, that what's funny though? I watch a lot of YouTube videos that are influencers that they do show a lot of things oh, this is how a size 8 pant fits in XYZ brands, and then they always say that this is their return pack, and they'll show you they'll do a whole video on the stuff that they're returning,
which is crazy. And I think because people think that these people buy all this stuff, that's an assumption. So that kind of translates to Claire looking, oh, this guy's this, and you're not getting an accurate representation of anybody.
No. So whatever.
Not a good idea to do that.
No, and she says the whole thing about Dale's social media is why she really fell in love with him. There's nothing great on there.
No.
Him working out.
And honestly, to bring back her age, she keeps talking about being 39 and this and that. What kind of 39-year-old does that? That's something a 29, or not 29 is a little old for that, a 19-year-old would do.
Yeah, because she's crazy, and I think
that's too old for that.
So enough about stupid Claire.
Yeah.
So Tasia's going to give Spencer the first impression rose. Mm-hmm. She said she felt a little spark when he came out of the limo, which is much better than Claire's fully fell in love, proposed to me on the first time she sees Dale, and basically is in his pants. So much more tame. First
physically sleeps with his pants.
Yeah,
And I think that was kind of I'm not trying to say she's average, but that was an average thing to say.
Normal Bachelorette thing.
What you do on that kind of show.
Yeah. And then I did think it was kind of cool that she canceled the rose ceremony so everybody could continue their journey, because typically people do go home. So
because it already was such a Freaky Friday scenario, it was nice to kind of, let it go.
So the first date happens, and the guys are going to play splash ball in Speedos. And here's first thing I thought was, what would Yosef think of this? They're wearing Speedos.
WWYD. What would Yosef do?
Yeah, what do you think he's freaking out, rolling his eyes at home? Because, he's not going to strip down for nobody.
He's penning a letter to Tasia.
Yes. So I just thought that was funny. And then the winners stay and the others go home. And among the people left on the date, Spencer's still there. And Easy's still there, and it looked like, I felt like Easy had a good chemistry with Tasia. I could see him being a front runner. But the guys literally say to Spencer when he comes back from talking to Tasia, like, in a lack of better terms, and I actually think the bleeped out word was that they called him a dick. So,
oh, that's cute.
Yeah, so I don't know if you have opinions on this, but do we think Spencer's the new villain of the season? Because there's always a villain.
I mean, if they're saying that, then yeah.
Yeah, so from the clips that, like, we saw for the coming seasons, there's somebody that's a villain, well, obviously.
Now that just made me think Noah.
Yeah.
Or they just make fun of him.
Yeah, that's true.
He's the boob of the season.
Yeah. So Riley is very passionate about not liking Spencer, and Riley calls him something I've never heard anybody call someone when they're giving them a diss. So it's a new slang term for me. I don't know if you've used it, but he calls him lunch meat. So
I've never heard that.
Yeah, he refers to something. I didn't have much growing up, but we had fried bologna, and this man's lunch meat. And I was like,
we had fried bologna and this man's lunch meat.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's maybe I really don't know what to say about that. I think that was his way to diss somebody who's trying to use, like, I don't know, compare things, and I can't think of the word, like the literary term, but that's just weird.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to start using that, though. Freaking lunch meat, man.
Yeah,
I'm using it.
That's somebody who thinks he's a poet, but he isn't.
Yeah, it was weird. Interesting. Freaking lunch meat.
Crazy.
So then I guess back at the house, if we move along, Jason is talking about how he's still hung up on Claire.
Yes.
So he's clearly emotional. He still has feelings for her, which, I mean, you went on one date with her, so you had more time than any of the other guys did with her. Mm-hmm. But Dale clearly was the focus of those 4 episodes. And so you really, if I had to guess, they probably spent all of 3 hours together, 4
Maybe.
hours together. So I just find it weird that Jason's so hung up on her.
Well, didn't you talk about, like, he was been called controlling and all these things? And I think he does have emotional maturity problems.
Yeah. And maybe he recognizes that, and he just doesn't want to put himself in a situation where he's going to act out bad. So, whatever. So he does decide to go talk to Tasia, and I think that was respectful of him to go literally say, like, hey, like, I'm leaving for this reason. You deserve better. The guys deserve better. Yeah. Instead of just packing up and leaving. So he does decide to leave. So, whatever. Bye, Jason. Yeah. So Brendan is the one-on-one date. And I think there's some good chemistry between Tasia and Brendan for sure. Mm-hmm. And I did see interview, and it looked like Brendan is a front runner.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I think if nothing else, they have a lot in common.
Yeah.
Which is, and sometimes you don't really realize that until later. They realize it obviously within hours. But that's good.
Yeah. So, and then the only other one I thought might be a front runner is Zach. It seems like they have really good chemistry too. Mm-hmm. Zach's 36. So he's one of the older ones. But I would like to see her date Bennett. I don't know. I like Bennett. I want to say him around because I think he's funny.
I mean, I feel like if the producers have any say, they'll want to keep Bennett around because he's very entertaining.
Yeah. The other one I think they're going to keep around, if anything, is Blake. I kind of spoke about this before in our previous episodes, that he rubs me the wrong way. I think he's controlling, like, or he's just or possessive or obsessive, I think would be the word. He just seems, I don't know. I don't want him. I hope Tasia does not want to be with him.
And I think they like to keep people like that around just because. And also too, like, sometimes if somebody is, and I'm not just saying this from like, oh, productions, skewing things for more ratings. A lot of times, especially when a woman first meets a guy who's super possessive, it comes across to her as like, oh, he really cares. So in that way, I mean, genuinely, she might think, oh, he really cares about me, but he's screwing with you.
Yeah. So, and I mean, that's literally the episode. Like, we really didn't see much.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, as much as Claire rubbed us the wrong way, she's a content driver.
Yeah. And so we were discussing this before we started recording, that we hope that we actually have content to talk about with Tasia, because Claire was such drama filled and just made it easy to make fun of, and Tasia's likable and I like her, and so I feel like it's hard to like make it comedy to make it funny, because like I like her. She's a cool person. Like,
yeah.
I hope we do get some villains in the season so we can make fun of the guy. So that'll be fun.
I mean, the one thing we definitely can make fun of, they showed us a little clip of Bennett talking about Noah's mustache, and it's kind of like, why? Like, why do you have that mustache? What is wrong with you?
Apparently he has a twin brother. Do you think the twin also has the mustache?
I hope not. I hope not. I hope somebody in that family has sense, but
oh gosh,
who knows? Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And so hopefully Bennett can really give us some fun this season.
Yes, please, Bennett.
Yes.
Obviously the season's over, so if you heard this, you wouldn't
hear our
cries.
But I mean, maybe they'll have Bennett be the Bachelor.
I actually think that'd be an entertaining season. But like, I feel like he just seems like somebody who wants like a trophy wife, like you know what I mean?
That's very kept, like put together woman.
Yeah, and Claire was not that woman for him.
No,
like, absolutely not.
She was the total opposite of what he's looking for.
Yeah, I honestly don't even know that Tasia's what he'd be looking for either. But she's cute, attractive, younger.
She's also, Tasia's a lot more put together than Claire.
Oh yeah, even like watching Claire like with the little, you know, after the rose type thing we just saw, she just comes off so immature to me.
Yes, she's immature and ill-mannered.
Yes.
I feel like they only chose Bennett just because they're like, oh, this guy's good for TV.
Yeah, and I think some people are obviously chosen that's good for TV. You don't want some stick in the mud that just sits there moping around.
Which is basically what Dale is if he wasn't as good looking as he was.
You know,
like if he was an uggo,
yeah, you're right.
They would have laughed at him.
You're right. And
going into casting.
Yeah, you're probably right. And he also, you know, comes from football background. He obviously has like entertainment background, and yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, honestly, if he would have looked like, if Danny DeVito had that personality. Seriously.
Yeah, she wouldn't be smelling Danny's pants.
No. Oh God, no. She would probably have punched him in the throat.
Yeah. It's just, freaking Claire. Well, hopefully we don't have to talk about her ever again, but I'm sure even at the end of the season, they'll do the after the rose, final rose with Tasia, and Clarendale will be there.
Yeah. She'll forget her earrings or something and have to come back.
You know what would be crazy though? Is if, you know, we obviously Claire and Dale are la la la, and we still see them in real time now on Instagram. They've been posting a lot of reels lately. But if we found out months and months from now that Claire and Jason actually got together.
You know what? I feel like Claire is going to be one of those women who gets on Facebook and just writes like post after post after post of dirt. Whether it's true or not.
Yeah.
That's what she's going to do.
Yeah, I think she's basically, I don't know, I just think she's doing all this for the wrong reasons, but she's doing it for love, because love is love. And you know what, I found out after we recorded, but do you know she posted on her Instagram that they were engaged before it aired in the West Coast? So a lot of West Coast fans were pissed. Yeah, they were like, well, I mean, obviously you kind of knew that was going to happen, but still, like, why would you release all that stuff before your West Coast fans could even see anything?
Yeah, they can't even see it live. That's messed up.
Yeah, so stupid Claire.
She's not a good actress.
Nope, we don't like her.
Boo.
Well, I guess that's all we have to say today.
Yeah. Well, we'll see you next week. Hopefully there's some new content. Maybe Bennett makes fun of somebody, and that'll be fun. And we do wish everybody good luck.
Yes. We're
not trying to be haters. We're just trying to be silly.
Exactly. Follow us on our Instagram for updates. 2 Nicoles 1 podcast. We have a YouTube, 2 Nicoles 1 podcast. TikTok, we're trying to be good TikTokers. Please follow us on there. 2 Nicoles 1 podcast, and then also Twitter 2 Nick 1 podcast. I literally forgot.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.